All right.
All right.
It's morphin'
Hello.
time.
Hmm. Hello, and welcome to the movie universe. I'm your host, Movie Fan. Today, I'm with my good friend Jonathan, the reviewer from JS Watch, because, well, I think the background he's got might explain it all. He's a Power Rangers fan, so we're going to interview him today. So, are you ready, Jonathan?
Ready. And hello to all of you Power Ranger fans and out there.
All right. Okay, let's see. I'll just start from the top here. Which season did you start with?
Well, well, back then when I was a kid, I first watched the series by watching Power Rangers Wild Force. That was the very, very first series I've ever seen.
Okay.
And well, to tell you the truth, I was introduced to Power Rangers by watching the movie back in 1995, which, by the way, is now 30 years.
Yep. Love it. And that's your starting point, huh?
Yep,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, how many seasons have you seen so far? One, two, all of them? Yeah.
Well, not all of them much, but just a few. I need to rewatch the series, beginning with all the way from the one that started all, which happens to be My Morphin. I'm still doing that.
Well, good. Okay. Let's see. You said you are still working on Mighty Morphin, or
Well, I'm still working on watching the very first series, yes.
oh,
But but of course, I'm still in the middle of season 1, though.
have you gotten to Green with Evil yet?
Almost.
Oh, you're gonna love that one. It's epic.
I know. I've seen it for the first time, and it was epic. I'm gonna rewatch it again.
That's always good. Okay, let's see. Have you ever seen the Super Sentai series? That's where it all came from.
Well, just a few clips of it, and it is interesting in some points.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Let's see.
mostly the intros I've been seeing.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, let's see. Have you ever collected any of the merchandise, Jonathan?
I used
Like
to back
toys or
then when
that?
I was
Sorry.
yeah back then I used to have some of the Power Ranger figures and toys from toy stores and McDonald's when I was back there young.
Ah, did you ever have a favorite one?
Well, it's been long, so I think I forgot.
Oh, okay, no problem. Okay, this one should be interesting, I think. Who's your favorite Power Ranger and why?
Well, if I had to say in terms of male Power Ranger, I'm gonna have to say Tommy because let's face it, he's a legend. He's a
Yeah,
legend for all of us.
sure is.
And Jason David Frank is so incredible in the role. It's like he's it's like he's always whatever we think of Power Rangers, we always think of Tommy. Oh sure, we always think of other characters like Jason, Zach, Billy, and Kimberly and all of that, even that the ones that came after, but we always think of Tommy.
Yep, true. Let's see. Okay, what's your favorite Zord or Megazord?
Well, if I have to pick one, I would say that it's a tie between the Mighty Morphin and the Wild Force.
Okay, awesome. Do you have a favorite episode so far from any series?
Well, I would say if I had to, I say my favorite episode of the series happens to be it's a tie between Reinforcements of the Future and Forever Red.
Hmm, that's a hard act to follow.
And oh yeah, also for female Rangers,
Oh,
I would say Jen Scott from Time Force because well, she's not like a typical Pink Ranger that you've seen on TV. She's more like a awesome character. and you see her as an amazing leader.
Okay, cool. Let's see. I know you've already answered this several times, but I got to ask anyway. What's your take on the movies?
What's my take on the movies? Well, I would say that if I had to, I think you mean by, I think it's ranking them, right?
Sure.
Is that what you're
Good,
saying?
bad, whatever. Take your pick.
Well, I would say the very first movie from 1995, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. Well, I would say it is phenomenal. So phenomenal. Even after 30 years, I still love it even to this day. I mean, let's face it. We got the original cast and also new interesting characters. Well, for the most part, except for Mordant, because we don't get a good explanation of why he even existed. But still, we got an amazing villain, Ivan Ooze.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, for the sequel, not much for me, which is Turbo, because it's not worse than Batman and Robin. I'll give them that. But like Batman and Robin, it has the worst villain, which is Divatox. I mean, I just wish that they would have just at least brought back Rhea Repulsa and Lord Zed to be the main villains in there. Because if you remember the end of Zeo.
Yep. I remember.
And now I'm going to have to move on to the other one before I get ahead about Turbo, even that there are good moments of it. The 2017, I'm mixed bag. I am mixed bag about it. I need to rewatch it though. But all I can say is it's okay in plot. But I wish that they could have done a lot better. But once and always, perfect way to celebrate 30th anniversary of the franchise. And I hope and pray that we're going to get a sequel. But this time, it should be focused on the legacy of Tommy Oliver.
Yeah, that definitely answers my next question. That was going to be, what did you think of Once and Always? But you already said it, so. But yeah, it should be. Although we'll give him credit for acknowledging him after it happened, of course, because they had to. They knew that we would never forgive him if they didn't,
Yeah, so. I just hope that they will do a sequel. And if I would come up with a plot, I would say similar to Once and Always, it would be focused on the legacy of Tommy Oliver. And it should be, and the daughter should be played by Jenna Ray Frank, the daughter of Jason David Frank, and be raised by a mother figure, which should be Kimberly Hart, and an uncle figure by Austin St. John.
Works for me. Which brings us to our next question. I think we already got a clue on this one, folks, but I apologize for asking this again, but I must. Tommy and Kim versus Tommy and Kat. Which do you prefer and why?
I would say Tommy and Kimberly because I don't see much of the chemistry with Kat because, well, it's kind of forced. I mean, I don't see. It's just kind of too forced. I mean, sure, Kat is a good character, mostly in Zeo, but I don't see much.
Nope, that's the problem. It is strictly forced. I mean, they're just cramming it down our throats to make up for the fact that Kimberly left. That's it. And it does not work.
But thankfully, in the comics, we got what we wanted.
We did. Yay.
And I should give a big thanks to Kimberly herself, Amy Jo Johnson, for coming up with this comic.
Totally.
Hey, Amy, if you're watching this or listening to this, we thank you for bringing us such a phenomenal comic books, and we're hope and pray to see something more of what you're going to do in the future.
Definitely. I second that motion. And I'll tell you one thing. If I ever run into her again, I'm having her autograph all 4 of them. I don't care what that costs me. I'm doing it. So, but yeah. Okay, let's see. I'll save that one for a little later. Okay. Which is the worst season and why?
I would say it is a tie between Megaforce and Super Megaforce. It is
Yeah.
worse than Operation Overdrive, and well, it's worse than Samurai and Super Samurai. Even that I need to check out because of I've only seen clips of it, but it's a million times worse than Operation Overdrive, and for good reason. They keep on. It's. I mean, first off, it's more like a ripoff of Mighty Morphin, way
Yep.
worse than Samurai. And second, and biggest one of all, they keep on teasing us of the legendary battle that we were gonna get. We were hyped for all of this. And I mean, and all of the advertisements that we've been getting. But what do we got in the end? Briefly to screen time with them, and no explanation of what Robo Knight was doing here after how long has it been? And then they leave.
Yep. And the unforgivable fact that they refused to do the Megazord battle.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
The Megazord in history.
I mean, they could at least just study about how to trim up from the ranges that we did not get before Mighty Morphin. Same thing for before what leads to it.
Yeah. And not to mention, we get so little screen time with our original Rangers, and I'm talking from the past all the way up, not like just strictly Tommy and all them, but we get so little time with them. During that so-called legend battle or legend war, I prefer to call it, we get more time with the Megaforce Rangers fighting those putties, as I'm calling them, instead of the other Rangers.
Exactly. And get this, Karen Ashley was originally going to be in it, but for some reason it didn't happen. Same thing for the actor who played the Lunar Wolf in Wild Force.
Oh, I can answer why Karen Ashley wasn't in it. She actually said this in an interview once, a radio interview. She said that she was going to, but then she found out that what she would have been paid wouldn't have even covered the plane ticket. And I can't say that I blame her. I mean, seriously, to travel all the way to New Zealand for what, I mean, Jason, he went because he's always been dedicated to the fans. He even said himself, I'm not doing it for the money, folks. I'm doing it for the fans. And, of course...
that's true.
Of course, definitely awesome for that one, Jason. But, the fact is, you could say what you will about doing this for money or not, but can you really... I mean, it is their job, and they do deserve to get paid better than that. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if it wouldn't cover the plane ticket, then it wasn't worth it. So...
Yeah. But still, what we got is totally worthless.
Yeah, so it didn't even matter anyway. So, in the end, she was better off, and so many others, too.
Thankfully, in Dimensions in Danger, we got a better one.
Yeah. And
I mean, sure, we did not get all of it, that's for sure. But still, it's a really awesome anniversary episode.
Yeah, way better design than that one was. Okay, so for you, what would be the best season?
It's kind of hard for me but if I have to say which one is one of the absolute best, it would be Dino Thunder, because it is you could say a successor to the very first series, and it's also really good tributes. Not only that we get another Dino themed series of Power Rangers, but even that is during the Disney era. But also, we got Tommy to come back. This time, not just as a ranger, but also as mentor and leader of the team.
Definitely.
Oh, and also, here's something interesting in terms of Super Sentai. You know that in the Dino Thunder series, there was one episode where the Dino Thunder team did watch an episode of Super Sentai, which is Lost, Found, in Translation. And I gotta say, this is an awesome episode. It's one of my absolute favorites. That it is an absolute tribute to both Power Rangers and Super Sentai.
Nice. Love it. Okay, let's see. Speaking of mentors, who's the best and who's the worst?
I would say Zordon is one of the best, alongside Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
For number second, it would be Princess Shayla from Wild Force,
Okay.
Keeper from Dino Charge, and for worst of all is, who was that name again? Gosei?
Yeah.
Because he's more of a ripoff of Zordon.
Yeah. Oh boy.
He even briefly mentions, and that mentor from both Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury. She's the best too.
Okay. Let's see.
Because we get better establishment because she mentions not just Zordon, but also she mentions the other series, like during that Old Foes episode.
Yeah. That's right.
And she has some good comedic moments as well.
Okay. Let's see. Best villain and worst.
I would say so many awesome villains that I would love. Like, not just Rita and Lord Zed, but also Ivan Ooze, Ransig, Sledge, let's see, Zenaku, Master Orb, and Mesagog. Mesagog is a good villain.
Nice. He is a good villain.
The villain. Oh yeah, and also, but Lothar, he's okay. He's not much of a villain. He's just more a comedic type. But the villains from not just Operation Overdrive, Samurai, and Megaforce series, but mainly Divatox is the worst.
Yeah.
Because she's more like trying to copy Rhea Repulsa with a touch of Lucille Ball.
Yep. That's it, all right.
Yeah. Oh, and also Astrama is one of the best.
Oh, yeah, she is. Definitely. Okay.
Even that, we're glad that she redeemed.
That's true. Okay, let's see. The comic books. Do you think they're canon to this series? A lot of people do. Or you think that they're on thing?
Well, I have not read much of the comics, but there are some moments that are... Well, I think there are some moments that are canon, but I need to recheck these out. But mostly I got into not just the Shattered Grid series, but also to the crossover comics, where they come across not just the Justice League, but also the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is awesome crossover. Way better than that shell-shocked episode of In Space.
Yep. Definitely. Okay, let's see. Speaking of canons, do you think the 1995 film is canon to the series?
Well, yes and no, because while the 1995 movie does show us about what happens later in the series, mostly about how they got the ninja powers, but I wish that this movie is what really leads to season 3, because this one is perfect. Not only that we get an interesting villain, which is Ivan Ooze, but also we get a lot better storyline about how the Rangers got the ninja powers.
Yeah, sure do. That's true. We do get a better one there. Okay,
way better than Ninja Quest, and of course, a friend need 1 through 3. That is not a right way to start season 3. I'll tell you that.
I still say that technically A Friend in Need was really just a finisher for season 2, because even though it's regarded as that, and yes, it is on the DVDs as the opener to season 3, it really is a season 2 one because of the Thunder Megazord and all that. So,
yeah. And
but, yeah.
also, what's worse is that after this episode was even made, they never mention any of this event anymore. It's like they didn't want to mention that anymore because nothing makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Or something like that.
Yeah, and now that you mention it, I think they barely showed it once because I don't remember seeing it back in the day. I probably missed it, is probably what happened, but I never saw any reruns of it. So that kind of says something there.
I think it's because that episode is worth being forgotten after being shown once. Because because later it's not canon to the Masked Rider series that was upcoming at the time.
No, it was just a pilot for it, well, more or less. That's about it.
And the storyline of Lord Zed hatred for Count Draken does not explain much for me.
Yeah, especially the fact that Draken was heading our way and Lord Zed did nothing to intervene because he didn't want him to interfere,
Yeah, I know. And of course, that monster that came to Earth. We don't need a B plot of Earth, except with Bulk and Skull. That I would consider as an exception.
Right.
But that monster is stupid. That monster is stupid and cheap.
Yeah, the only good thing about it is we get a Megazord battle that was definitely our doing, because that was not Super Sentai.
That I'll give them credit.
But yeah, Repelator, oh boy, he looks like a... Yeah, I mean, he was Silverhorns with his tongue hanging out.
Yeah, you could say cousin of Silverhorns.
Yeah, and Slipknot. That is, if you're a fan of Slipknot, because they had one of them had a mask like that once, with his tongue like all the way down there. Anyway, let's see.
Yeah, I imagine that.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Here's one for you that I think you might find interesting. Now that Hasbro has finally let go of Power Rangers and Paramount has it, so no more of them ruining it for us with a lot of their cheap, empty promises and stuff. What are you hoping for with Paramount? And what do you think might happen?
Well, I'm not sure because I didn't know that Paramount is now owning Power Rangers until now. Because
you didn't know?
And I thought Hasbro are still continuing it, mostly on not just the series but also the toy line, mainly the Lightning Collection, because for the most part they did excellent. They captured it very well, and I was hoping about what they're going to do in the future.
Well, from what I keep hearing, they're giving it up finally, and it's kind of obvious they don't even care about the series anymore. Not since the original CEO's gone. He was the one who cared. They don't. I mean, they've been letting it bomb big time. I mean, heck, they've even been making a bunch of promises that they're not following through on at all. I mean, where's that replacement movie for 2017 they promised us? Where?
Maybe they're trying to work on something maybe they're trying something new while keeping it staying true to the series. But one thing I know for sure is that I hope the series will keep going after where we left off from Cosmic Fury.
Well, the problem is their plan was to start anew, just reboot the series back to Mighty Morphin, just because. And I hate that. Leave it alone. It does not need to be redone.
Unless it's going to be canon to not just the series, but also to the Boom Studio comics.
That might not go too well with me, but I can't speak for the rest of the world. Because if they try to really force that whole Tommy and Cat thing and try to make it legit, oh no,
Oh no, we don't want that.
no.
We don't want that.
I mean, that whole thing's forced. That's why there's still a lot of people who say hell no to this, myself especially. But, if they try to make it work and all that just to suit their needs, no. Okay, let's see. What's the next one? What is it about the show that you love so much?
Well, I love the storyline, and also I love I enjoy the character developments on each Ranger, and also the action. That was really awesome. Even the way that they mixed it up between the actual footage and the ones from Super Sentai. But there are times that they made action scenes of their own without the footage of Super Sentai.
That's true.
And that I'll give them thumbs up for it. And there are a few episodes that they know how to make it good in terms of dark tone. That I enjoyed it. And well, there's so many things I like about it, especially there are times that there are good romance stories and good horror plot lines and dark plot lines, and they don't go too force.
It's always good. Okay, let's see. Down to the final question now. Let me double check that to be sure. Yep, we're down to the final question.
Wow.
What impact has this show had on your life?
I'm sorry. What's the question again?
What impact has this show had on your life? Like, did it teach you anything?
Well, it doesn't teach me much, but it does show me one thing: that when you're a team, it's like you're in part of a family, and you always look after each other.
Yeah, totally. Well, before I go, I want to thank Jonathan, the reviewer, for sitting in with me for this. Once again, thank you, Jonathan, for being a part of it.
My pleasure, movie fan.
Awesome. Yep, and it won't be too long. Because believe it or not, folks, this show's almost wrapped up. So, and what happens next, I'll let you know soon. But until then, this is Movie Fan, signing off.
And this is Jonathan, the reviewer from Jay's Watch, and I'll see you in my channel, and may the power protect you.